right, we're on Taharot, Perek Yud, Mishnah Dalet. Fourth Mishnah, the 10th chapter, Masechet Taharot. We're done with the zaytim, with the olives. Now we're going to turn to grapes, anavim, grapes. So in our last Mishnah, what we noticed in the last couple of Mishnayot, we talked about baradim and botzuim. Botzuim is someone who harvests grapes, someone who cuts grapes. So we said that someone who harvests grapes, he has to be tahor. Even if he's an am aretz, he has to make sure he's metaher. Because someone who harvests grapes, okay, he can make the grapes tameh. Why? So one of the reasons that we said was, remember we said that he can, sometimes when they harvest the grapes, they'll burst the grapes, they'll squeeze the grapes for the juice in order to make sure that the grapes are ripened. And that can make the whole thing tameh. So now, what Kati notes is, and Kati says something in introduction that we're going to see in the Bar Tanura. He says, Lo huchshavu lekabel tuma. When I said the grapes are anavim, grapes that are harvested, okay, we said are only lo gazu ela abotzer mitchila lagat. The gzeira of the Rabbanan. This is a gzeira of really Beit Shammai and Mesachet Shabbat. Beit Hillel came to agree with them. They only gozer on botzer, on grapes that are harvested originally lagat, to be brought to the wine press. Okay, but if anavim shebatzah mitchila laachila, but if you harvested the grapes for eating, v'lo huchshu lekabel tuma, okay, and they were not muchsha lekabel tuma, meaning nobody poured water on them, nobody got them wet intentionally, then those grapes are not mekabel tuma, and those grapes, the gzera did not apply. Okay, so we have two kinds of grapes. Grapes for liquid, they had to be tahor, because if they were not tahor, they were muchsha lekabel tuma, and so you have to make sure you did it b'tahara. And then your grapes that you were going to eat, that you don't have to worry about at all. They were just totally different category. Now, hanotein min hasalim. Our Mishnah, going to talk about what happens if you harvested for eating and then you changed your mind. And that's exactly this. Hanotein min hasalim. Umina mashteach shel adama. Okay, if you take from the salim, from the baskets, i.e. the baskets that you were going to eat from, or mashteach adama, that's where it's spread out on the ground. You're going to spread them out to dry out. Okay, and then, so anavim shebatzah mitchila laachila. So these are grapes that you originally intended to eat, and then ve'achar kach nimlach aleim, you changed your mind. Ulekacham min hasalim, you took them from these baskets, from the ground. Okay, la'aleh unetanam lagat, and you wanted to put them now in the gat. So you originally harvested them for eating grapes, for delicious eating grapes, and therefore you could do it. You didn't have to have an ama aretz, and that was fine. You could be tameh. But now you decide, I'm going to put them in the gat. Beit Shammai says noten biyadayim tahorot. You have to take them, place them in the gat with yadayim tahorot, with tahor hands. Ve'imatan biyadayim tameot timan. But if you place them with yadayim tameot, then you made them tameh. Okay, why? Kevan shebalinam lagat. Since you're going to put them in the gat, areu ki'ilu b'tzara mitchila lagat, as if you're actually harvesting from the gat. V'tzarich she'iten lagat b'tahara. Okay, and you have to place them in the gat in tahara, like normally like when you would harvest them for the gat, for the wine press. Beit Hillel says no. Notein b'yadayim tameot. You're allowed to take them from b'yadayim tameot, with tamei hands. Why? Since you originally, let's finish the Beit Hillel. Umafrish trumato b'tahara. But if you want to separate, designate truma, you have to do that b'tahara. Why? Let's take a look at the Bar Tanura. Okay, why can you put them in the gat yadayim tameot? Because they were not muchsha lekabel tuma. Originally, they were eating grapes, and therefore you gathered them for eating. They're not mekabel tuma until you actually put them in the gat. And this is why the grapes are tahor. And then once you squash them, once you produce the wine, then you can be mafrish trumato b'tahara. The grapes are not tameh. Min ha'avat. Umina mashteach shel alim. If you take them from the avat is a basket that was used in order to, let's look at the Bar Tanura, at the Jasper, it's like an avit. It's where are we looking at? Large basket strapped on the carrier's back, in which grapes are carried during the vintage. It's used, the point is, it's a basket used specifically for wine making in the vintage. Or mashteach shel alim, if you spread it out not on the ground but on leaves, and somehow the Kati explains when you spread it on the leaves, that was the implication that you were doing it for the processing of the wine. Hakol shavim shu noten b'yadayim tahorot. Even Beit Hillel agrees to Beit Shammai, you have to do that with the yadayim tahorot. V'im natan b'yadayim tameot. If you did the harvest with the yadayim tameot, then then you made them tamei. All right, we'll stop here. Dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Make it a great day.